So these gentlemen are from Wake County 4-H GIS Mapping Club members. If you guys have never done anything with 4-H, go find a 4-H group in your community and help them out with this, because 4-H has done amazing things for my kids, and what they've presented lots of different places. So David Flowers is 18 years old. He's from Millbrook High School. He is the student body president. He is the vice president of product development of 4-H GIS core team. You're going to have to explain that one. And then he plans to major in engineering at a four-year university. Any top picks? You are 18.
Right now I'm a finalist for the Park Scholarship at NC State, so that's probably my top choice right now.
Fantastic. And then Dylan Dobson is 18 years old at Rollsville High School, and he plans to attend UNCG. Go Spartans, I went there, to study GIS. Before you leave, I could introduce you to a professor that's here. President of 4-H GIS Club in Raleigh. So you ready to go?
Okay, perfect. While this is loading, like Dylan said, my name is David Flowers, and one project that we really focused on as a core group was service, and we do all of our service through technology, specifically through ArcGIS online. So one of the biggest things that we were challenged with is making sure that everyone's rights are maintained. And one of the biggest rights that we've seen in our community is the right to security and protection. And a lot of times these rights are, in order to have them, you have to have a job. And as sad as that may seem, in order to feel the most safe and protected in a lot of our societies, you have to have a house. And most of the time that is accomplished through having a job. So as a member of the core team and the vice president of product development, which essentially means I oversee every project that goes on, we were tasked with trying to come up with an app that could offer job resources to the communities around us. So the Mobarak CAC reached out to us and asked us to create an employment app, basically allowing people to find resources, help them find jobs, and have access to them in our community. Before we start, I'm going to give a few little statistics just to make it a little bit more real. So in Raleigh alone, it's estimated that over 4,000 people are currently homeless, so without a home, without any sort of protection. Of those individuals, currently 2,736 of them are current Wake County Public School students. So maybe your children or ourselves interact with them every day. Kids that do not have a home. 1 in every 30 students in the Wake County Public School system has experienced some sort of homelessness during their time at school. And in our community, in Wake County, it is estimated that over 62,000 people are currently living under the poverty line. So it's an issue that's affecting our community, and it's an issue that we decided to tackle. This is our app, as you see in front of us, and this was created by Mobarak High School. I assembled a team of 5 students, led by myself, and we essentially began creating this app. So the Mobarak CAC reached out to us. They offered us a few different geographical points in order to start creating this app that would eventually be used by countless individuals within our community. So this app was done by compiling various locations like churches, libraries, and other places where people could print off stuff for free, ESL classes, as well as churches and free meals, as well as job training services. So essentially, all of these small points that you see on the computer or on the app represent some sort of service that could be of use to someone trying to find a job. So as you see here, we have many different options of where people can go and find these resources to go and help them have access to a job or potentially help their services. So we took this GIS technology and tried to integrate it into a new app for our community. This app not only provides these locations, but it also provides all of the public transportation that could get them to these points of location. Seeing that many of our clients would potentially not have a job or not have a car, we decided to provide them all the locations around them with bus stops. So within this app, you can type in your point of location, and it will give you the fastest route possible to get you to your location on time, as well as the cheapest manner in order to do it. So whether it be the bus that runs every 15 minutes in your local community, everyone using this app would have the ability to go and get to these resources as quick as possible. This app is currently being used by the Mobarak CAC, and it is shareable through email and other different ways of communication, therefore allowing it just to be spread throughout our community. We were recently informed that it's very popular. People are using it a lot, and it's really helped job growth within our community. So this was created through ArcGIS, and it was then furthered by, so we did all like the back end and front end development, and then it was finally published, I believe by SAS, if I'm not mistaken. So this is our Mobarak Employment App. It essentially helps people around our community, and my community especially, have resources and have the ability to find a job. So now Dylan is going to continue talking on various projects that we're working on.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Okay, so as you can see from right here, it looks like it's just a lot of just everything on that. And that's actually good because that shows just how much Wake County has done a good job of having greenways, trails, just helping people get exercise. And the point, if I zoom in here, the point of this map is to show people who are looking to get out, get around, and just exercise, is to show them different parts of Wake County where there are trails and greenways. And Wake County has started this project many years ago, and their purpose of this is to get people, this can help them get to work, exercise, and it just helps people out in general. And as you can see on this map here, you have game land, greenway, and open space, different areas. And so basically what Wake County has done is try to connect all of these trails into one. And a few years ago, I worked for Wake County park maintenance. And I had a few people who actually, this was a way that they got to work. And they've done a good job of keeping the trails safe, and also for people like parks where they can join, like Raleigh Parks and Rec. They have basketball programs, football, softball, baseball, all that, and they're cheap programs, so everybody can use them. And so what we've done in our group on this next slide is made a geocache. So we launched, Trail Mix, Project Trail Mix. That's the name that we used. And the purpose of a geocache, it's almost like a game. And people can go on geocache.com and essentially find this geocache. And when you go on the app, it will tell you if anybody's found this geocache before. And our geocache, I'll show you in the next picture. It's right here. Is this little object right here under a bridge. So it's about this small. And let me go back. Essentially, we put it on the app. We had Mr. Ray. He uploaded it. And then actually somebody from the geocache website has to go out and find it to be able to publish the app. And so you can see it has about a 2-star difficulty and about a 1.5-star terrain. And what this does is I designed it so that it's on Crabtree Creek Trail, if anybody knows where that river is. And we just decided to put on that place because not that many people were accessing the trail. So I wanted to get people to be able to go on the trail. So if I know that if I put something out there that would make people, ride their bike, just go out there with the family, then that will work. So basically the description was Crabtree Creek is a major body of water located in Wake County. Crabtree Valley Mall gets its name from the creek. The creek lies within the floodplain. One of the first mills was built on Crabtree Creek called the Great Falls of Crabtree. And as you can see, it will show you some reviews. And then it says, woo, needle in a haystack, about 175 feet from ground zero. Found host and spent some time on, over and under, signed fresh log, and rehead as found. So now we have people actually on the creek. So we see that it's actually had a positive effect. And I purchased the geocache myself, and we looked to see where it would be the best place to put it. And there's a bridge, actually, that when you go on Crabtree Creek, and it's just a bridge, and it's like rusted kind of color. So we knew that if we hit it under it, it's a magnet, and the wind and stuff won't mess it up, and people won't accidentally push it over. And we just decided that this little piece would be something hard for people to find, but it makes it fun. And other ones that I've seen is people have had tennis balls, fake tennis balls that they use, golf balls, actually a log, like a whole like wooden log that people put out there, which is pretty cool. And some people use gum. It looks like fake chewing gum, so that's actually pretty cool too. So yeah, this is one of my favorites that we've done. This next one is food access for homelessness in Wake County. This map actually won second place in the GIS Day. Then it was a few months ago, downtown Raleigh, that they've had, and this was voted the second best map in there. And this map was also presented at the Esri User Conference in San Diego, California, if anybody knows about that conference. And so basically, we've designed this map to show the different food pantry meals, or both. And as you can see, the darker the color is, the more people that are homeless, and it's just like David was talking about in the school systems. So this gives people a place where we need to have more meal places and food pantries. As you can see in Wake Forest, it's only one dot up there, which is a food pantry. So that's a place that needs to be more attention. And Raleigh's done a pretty decent job of having food kitchens. As you can tell, schools are always having kids volunteer to help out there, and it's good for community service hours. So what makes this map so good is that it's a clear map that just shows the different aspects of where places are in need. And this is actually a really serious problem that I've noticed. Like when I was in San Diego, I noticed that just going downtown, like in the middle of the night, you just see a lot of homelessness people out there, and it's really sad because it seems like people don't care about these people. It just seems like, oh, that's somebody else's problem, and that needs to change. So I think that this map exposes people to something that not everybody knows about. So, and then David will talk about.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about the opioid overdose rate and problems facing our community at the moment. So I'm not sure if you have been tuning into the news lately, but the overdose issue within North Carolina is at an all-time high, and it's been an issue that has been widely covered over the last few months. So this year in North Carolina, overdoses claimed more lives than murders. This is very contrary to 2002, when there were only about 200 overdoses in the entire year, as there were around 600 murders. The murder level has stayed the same, but the overdose level has drastically increased. This new epidemic is hitting our nation. It's hitting all of the communities around us, and it's definitely something of concern and something that we need to shift our attention to and our resources to. Over the past few months, we've definitely seen a lot more coverage, but not nearly enough. The opioid overdoses typically lead to other substance abuses, like heroin and other narcotics and illegal drugs, as a result of being cut off from their opioid supplies. More than 1,200 individuals died last year from opioid overdoses, which is an insanely large number, being that we have such an incredible community around us that's willing to help these individuals out. In 2016, in April 2016, a survey was released, and some new discoveries were found that we had more cities in North Carolina listed on the top 25 opioid overdose list than any other state. We had Wilmington, North Carolina, which was ranked number 1 overall on the list. We had Hickory, which was ranked 5th, Jacksonville ranked 12th, and Fayetteville ranked 18th. So these are some alarming numbers. And as a core team, we decided to make a map to be able just to demonstrate this and show what this issue actually is. So in the last, actually in 2016, the heroin overdose rate increased by 584%, just demonstrating the effects that opioids are having on our community and just the alarming numbers that are available. So in this map, we use ArcGIS Online to construct essentially a map dictating where the key points are of rate of overdose and the mortality rate. So much like that note just said, the darker and larger boxes are the boxes of more concern. So as you can see on this map, as I zoom in a little bit and shift it over, Wilkes County, North Carolina, which is right where my cursor is currently, is the largest and darkest box in North Carolina. This is very concerning, seeing that it was none of the cities in this county were listed on the top 25 list. It is a site that in the last 5 years has had more deaths and overdoses per its population than any other place in North Carolina. It's also a place that has received no news coverage. Due to its small population size and lack of large resources like RTP, it has not been in the news. That's definitely an area that we need to begin to cover, an area that needs help. And so this map has offered us a great chance to see that the areas in our community that aren't being reached like we need them to. A national survey was done, and there were a few counties that were left out, and Wilkes County was one of them. And it's mostly because of the population size and the lack of impact that the nation thinks that the county is having on our state. But in reality, the numbers are quite alarming, and they definitely need to be addressed. So as a core team, we developed this app to be able to show off at various conferences to raise awareness as to the issues that are happening in our communities. It's very nice to see that the news coverage is steadily increasing. I believe 2 nights ago on many news sites there was various articles released and newscasts released on the issues at hand. One large issue is the veteran population. After coming back from war and coming back from various areas, we see a lot of opioid addiction and opioid uses due to the prescriptions that doctors are offering. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to find some correlation between the rate at which doctors are prescribing opioids and the rate at which people in our community are overdosing. So this is a very alarming issue and an issue that we are hoping to study a little bit more as a core team. And it's definitely something as the Vice President of Product Development and Dylan as the President, we're going to be focusing on over the next few months and the next year. So I think in the grand scheme of things, our nation, North Carolina is not the only state dealing with this. Our nation is dealing with this as a whole. We don't have a map for our nation at the moment, but we do have some comparisons over the last few years in North Carolina. So our nation as a whole is struggling. I know in Vermont especially, it is the worst state in the United States for opioid addiction as well as heroin addiction. So in this map here, you can see the opioid mortality rates in 2014 to 2015, as well as over the past 5 years. So in these maps, the darker the area, the higher the mortality rate was on a standard deviation curve or on the bell curve. So as you can see, Wilkes County in all 3 of these, so Wilkes County is right around here. In all of the maps, Wilkes County is in a very dark red. So once again, very alarming. But if you just take a look at these maps, you can see that we definitely have a lot of areas that are above the typical curve. And once again, that's very alarming. So we're going to go ahead and move on, and Dylan's going to begin speaking again.
All right. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Okay, so this map, this is my favorite map, actually. And this map compares grocery store density and fast food restaurant density with obesity rates in North Carolina, along with alcohol spending. So can anybody tell me from just looking at this map, how do you guys think that they correlate? Does anybody know? This one. Does anybody else know? So as you can see, just from looking at, let's start with grocery store and obesity. As you can tell, so just like David was saying, of course, the lighter the color, the more it is, the more obese people. So as you can see, you have these 3 dots right here, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So these 3 dots show these are the most where most people are obese. And as you can see that from the grocery store, these are the areas that there aren't that many grocery stores. So it's more fast food. So more fast food is more obese people. So these 2 maps show that if it's more fast food restaurants, the more likely people are to eat unhealthy. Now, when there are grocery stores, people are more likely to get, your fresh foods, your Lowe's foods, your Whole Foods, Harris Teeters, places like that. People are more able to eat healthy. And another thing is population is a factor, and also, it's not up here, income is also a factor. People who usually have a lower income are more susceptible to eating fast food because it's cheap, it's easy to get, and it's fast. Now, on this alcohol map, the highest, so Wake County, as we can see, see if it's on this. Let's see if I'll let this move over to. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, so while he's pulling it, okay, there we go. So it says in Wake County, this is where we are right now. It says people, look how much money that is. That's in Wake County right now. So that's $618 per household, and that's in Wake County, the county that we are in right now. And as you can see, there's a heat mark in Wake County. So alcohol use leads to obesity. And that just shows how much alcoholism is a problem. And just like David was saying, this isn't the only state where this is the problem. And it's actually an issue that a lot of people don't know about. And fast food is just unhealthy. But people just think that since, it's fast and it's cheap. But really, like when I was working for Parks and Rec, the workers there, they would eat fast food every single week. And if you think about it, if you get a hamburger and fries, that's $5. So if you do the math, 5 days a week, then you have $25. Now, if you look at it, if you have a grocery store like Lowe's Foods, you buy yourself some lunch meat, cheese, and bread, and you're good for 2 weeks. And you're eating healthy. And that's why the people who have more grocery stores eat healthier and they save more. That's why income is also a factor too. So yeah, that's basically why this map is so important. So let's see where is it. Yeah, this one. Give me explain. Okay, all right. Okay, so while this map is loading, this one, while it's loading, it's talking about the physical inactivity and obesity. Now, we all know now that if you don't exercise, you may put on an extra few pounds. And here is going to show, these are the standard deviations. So this is what it shows on the bell curve. And as you can look, this map shows that this is the percent obese. So the purple is the obese, and the blue is the inactivity. So as you guys watch me move this along, nice and slow, you can see that the darker areas stay dark, and the lighter areas are more likely to be light. So this also correlates with the past map about the fast food, the income, the population. And this just shows how it just stacks. It just gets worse and worse. And this is a problem because this is why mortality rates, and it just leads to just everything. And it's such an issue that we need to address in places like, what's this county here? So this one, it says population in 2010 was 134,000 people. And the black female mortality rate was 44.20, and the white female mortality rate was 23.7. So it's higher for black women than it is for white women. So the ratio is about 1.86. And, this would tell you just this is Hope County. And you can just see from looking at this map, I'll do it again, that both of these maps correlate with each other. And when you look at the standard deviations, you can just see that if you don't exercise, then that leads to a negative impact. If you don't eat healthy, that leads to negative impact. And unfortunately, that usually leads to death. And it's just sad to me that people aren't really doing anything about it. It's just like we're not really focused on issues like this. We're just, into like TV and all that, and we have issues. Drug issues, eating issues, health issues, and this stuff really needs to be addressed. And these maps give exposure to just what's really going on in the real world. And I think that's good that you guys came out to this so you can see that this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and not just here, just all around, just in the world as a whole. So I thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, questions? Any questions? Tom has a question.
On the homeless app, the first one,
Mm-hmm.
how are these folks getting access to this app?
Right.
Repeat the question.
I would think if you didn't have a home, you would have a phone. That's probably not true.
Right. So the question was, how are people accessing this app if they're homeless and potentially do not have a phone? So this is a question we kind of dealt with ourselves, but the Mobarak CAC offers computer access as well as access within their various facilities. It's also many people in the homeless population do use their money to access phones or something along those lines in order to stay in contact with each other. So we found that although they might be without a home, they may have a phone to their name.
And how are you trying to promote it to the homeless community?
Right. So the question was, how are we promoting this to the homeless community? As a core team, we are not the ones promoting it ourselves. We will be taking place in the census that will be coming about for the homeless population, and that will potentially be an area that we can promote the app. But the Mobarak CAC does all of the advertising for us, and they do all of the reaching out to the communities.
Oh, also I like to say You Thrive does a really good job of promoting. You Thrive is global, and I know that they send out emails and just try to get the word out on billboards and everything. And if I'm wrong, I think You Thrive is the biggest provider for just the nonprofit organizations. So that's what helps get these words out, and also with our app, because our app is through You Thrive too.
Well, and you said SAS was publishing
Right.
Oh, yes,
I do believe so, yes.
So I have a question along those lines. What can we do to help you use this information in a way that people can learn from it?
And by that, do you mean this app itself, or?
You built all these
Right.
great tools to see all this information. What can we as a GIS community actually do to help you share that?
Right. I think one of the biggest things is awareness. Like Dylan and I were saying, throughout each map, just making the word known and making it visible will allow for more strategies in order to combat it. Dylan and I are both in high school. We don't necessarily have all the equipment necessary to change laws or change policy, but I definitely think we have the tools to create awareness that to people that could potentially change policy. So one of our biggest things is just asking that you help spread the word, that you help make our communities know what the issues are and what's going on in your own backyards. Because if we're not willing to make change, then no one will. Because we're frankly the ones living here. So.
Oh, yeah, I did say something on that too. Oh, I think that since going to GIS Day downtown, I noticed that there were fields in GIS that I've never even heard of. And I think that there's fields such as your address, like your addresses for, you live 3432, wherever you live, and that's GIS right there. And I think that just there's so many fields, and that should help spread the word because we have people on the city level, the county level, and the state level that I've seen. And I think that, like David was saying, that should help spread the word because we have it on so many different levels, and it's a lot of us. And I think that really helps with getting this word out because it is a serious issue.
Any other questions? Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. One back corner.
Well, thank you. So I'm not sure if you all heard it, but we are actually. She essentially mentioned that there are over 2,000 students within the Wake County community that are suffering from homelessness, and it's basically a challenge for us to go out and make a difference. I definitely think, at Mobarak High School, we have around 20 homeless families, I believe. It slowly gets larger as the year goes on, but we do take various initiatives to provide resources for them. One thing Wake County does do is they provide breakfast and lunch for free for all students that are homeless, and under the poverty line, which is another great resource. During the holidays, Mobarak High School, we do adopt a family. We don't actually know who the families are, but we're given a list of all the ages and all of the, basically a list of all the students that are in need of some sort of supplies. And so during the holidays, we supply an entire Christmas or whatever holiday they're celebrating for them. And that's definitely a great way that we're trying to reach out, but I definitely agree there's more that we can be doing in our own communities. And we definitely plan on trying to present this to as many people as we can, reaching as many people as we can, and trying to impact our community in the best way possible.
Yeah, this homeless app, employment app, it's like centered in the Wheel Group area.
Right.
So, what about other parts of Wake County, like Perry?
Are you talking about this one right
Yeah.
here? Yeah, let me see.
I think we're talking about this one.
Oh, you're talking.
No, at the moment it is only Millbrook, only in the Millbrook community. Because we were reached out to by the Millbrook CAC, they requested that we make this app for them, and it was tailored specifically to their needs. We don't have as many points of location as we would like to have, So hopefully in the future we'll begin to compile more data points and more resources to make it available to as many people as possible.
Okay. Wait, oh, what was the question again? Yes. Yes, that's a good question. So he was asking if we plan on opening this up to different counties on other levels. And yes, we do plan on doing that. We have a presentation coming up in Franklin High School, and we plan on sharing this same information. And each year we go to the Azure User National Conference in San Diego in, I think it's June, July-ish time. And we plan on sharing that on the national level. And I went 2 years ago. It was a really good experience. And I just thought that it would just be people from around the United States, but it was actually around the world. I met people from countries that I've never even heard of. And I thought it was really cool. The one part that I thought that concerned me about the conference was the main topic that was brought up by a lot of the countries is they needed access to this information. Their main question was, I really like this information, but how do I get this to the people in my country? And as you can tell, just from going on Google Earth and all that, a lot of these countries don't have power, electricity, and they're not able to have maps like this to show their people. And it's just crazy how they can't access this information. And that's also a topic that needs to be discussed on how we can get this as a global idea, because you can't do anything alone. It's a everybody together effort. And like you were saying, we plan on sharing this, getting the word out, because everybody needs help. And it just can't be done alone. So that's the answer to your question.
And also, I believe there is a core GIS team in most of the counties within North Carolina. So we specialize in Wake County and North Carolina as a whole. But I believe there are other core teams, if I'm not mistaken, that focus on their own county as a hand, to potentially kind of specialize the issues and maybe make them a little bit more personal.
So can you tell us what the core teams are?
Yeah, so as our core team, this is the only one that I'm directly a part of, but we have students from all over Wake County representing many different high schools that meet together once a month that essentially collaborate in GIS, as well as we just share the issues that are facing our communities. And essentially we make apps like we've demonstrated to you today, as well as just kind of reach out to our communities and try to affect change in whatever way we can, especially within the technology space.
Oh, yeah, and so the core team is through 4-H, and from 4-H, that's a really big organization that we all know. And when people think of 4-H, they just think of agriculture, farming, horses, stuff like that. And GIS is new to a lot of people. When you go around your schools, you say, "Oh, I'm going to study GIS." They're like, "What is that?" Nobody really knows what it is. In colleges, when I went to this college info meeting, I said, "Oh, I want to study GIS," and they didn't know what that was. Yes, but schools such as North Carolina Central they just started a new program, and from the presentation I saw before we were speaking, UNC Charlotte is a very big school for geographic information systems, and also NC State. That's where we meet. Those are very big areas. So that's basically what we do.
Any more questions? Thank you, gentlemen. That was fantastic. All right, I have one more thing that I want to show you, because now it's our turn, right? We have seen the future. We have seen what these guys are capable of. We have seen what information they have available and how they're going to show us how to run the world. We're all going to be working for them eventually. That is the wrong PowerPoint presentation. So I put together a couple of slides. Tom Triple was the one who was always in charge of doing the K through 12, and then he left. So they asked me if I would do it, and they asked me because I worked with 4-H in my county and worked with my children to actually do a science club. And this is when I realized that nobody knows what we're doing. So we talk to each other, right? We live in our own little bubble. We have our own environment where we talk to the people that know what we're talking about. But truth be told, if you go out into the public and if you talk to some of the schools that you're in, and if you talk to some of the students that your kids know or your friends' kids or your next door neighbors, they actually have no idea what the capabilities here are. So it's our turn to share what these students have done and take it to some other schools, other people that we know, and other places. And I want to tell you a couple of places that you can do that. So the American Association of Geographers has a mentor program. This takes me about 5 minutes a month. They will go out and find different locations for different schools that are doing information, that are doing different programs. You can sign up as you're available to be a Geo mentor. If someone in your area has some questions they want to ask, they call you and they ask you. I have had about 4 different conversations. I've actually done an article inside of one of the groups about what my job is and what I do that actually shares what the goals of GIS are and how to share that with other students up and coming. This is actually through a program called ConnectEd that was put together by President Obama and is done through the American Association of Geographers and Esri. And Esri has a school K through 12 set of programs that you can look at. And you can go here and they have all sorts of lesson plans. They have all sorts of different information that you can get. They have free software that you can get as a school. Now, let me tell you my biggest problem in doing the K through 12 session, finding people willing to speak. It is really, really difficult. And you guys have met if you've never met a student's teacher in middle and high school, those people are swamped. There is so much going on. There's so much they have to take care of. So one of the things that I have always been willing to do is to go in and spend a day and help them work through what data they need to find, what tools that they have readily available that they can get and pull into their system, and help them build something, even if it's just small, to start with. Because you start planting seeds in these kids' heads, they're going to make the teachers move to that. And if it's something as cool as what these guys are doing, where you have slide maps and the colors change and there's heat maps and things light up, that is exciting. That is actually telling all this different type of information that now they're spatially aware of and they can understand what the impacts are. So the last one is, the last one I have an example of, and there's more of these, but these are the 3 big ones that stuck out to me, is GIS Core through URISA, and CURISA, which is Carolina URISA, is actually here upstairs. They have all sorts of volunteer programs that if you're a part of their group, they work with these different schools to do GIS projects within the schools. And they're not necessarily GIS on the level of these guys where they're making maps. Sometimes they're coloring in pictures of what countries are in Africa. Sometimes it's just spatially giving knowledge about where things are located and how where things are located affect other things. So, it's starting at baseline. So here's what you can do. Find an organization and volunteer some time. Even if it's just, here's my phone number. If you have any questions, call me. And I'll help you out. Even if it's, give me your number and I'll get you in contact with the right person at Esri that can get you some free software. Take a minute because I want to retire one day. And I want to know that these guys are going to take over and make things great. And we have seen at this conference alone what amazing things GIS can do. Just imagine where it's going to be in 10 years. And I need somebody way smarter than me to do that. So pick a school, pick a kid. Go to your neighborhood. Don't be creepy. Find a kid that you like. Help them out. Point them in the right direction. Help them out with a school project. Pick a school. Pick a teacher who you know is drowning. Volunteer an afternoon. I know that I work for the state. I actually have hours for that specifically, for community service time. I can go to a school and donate my time and get paid for it. Use that. So go work with a school. And then the big one, and one of the things that we've seen today, is these guys have pinpointed areas and locations. Provide them with data and how to use it. So don't drown them. But if you know that there's information that's available, share that information and then share what they've done with other people. So take all this information and put it out there in the world. Maybe you can point them to another presentation that they can give, or you can point them to a group of people that they need to talk to. So it's really on us to help these guys get where they need to be. And with that, I'm all done. I want to thank again our students. Thank you so much.